The dazzling cities of the ancient Maya, built by one of the most sophisticated civilizations in history.
The Maya people were as advanced as any of the ancient civilizations of the world.
For 3,000 years, the ancient Maya dominated Central America. They founded powerful kingdoms and built towering temples, ruled over by formidable kings and queens.
Maya rulers lived lives of incredible privilege, but there was a price to be paid.
But their lives remain shrouded in mystery. Who were they, and how did they live and die? With exclusive access, our experts embark on a groundbreaking 2-year investigation, using space technology to hunt for a long-dead king inside this intriguing temple.
いいんじゃないですか？感じとしては。
Coming face to face with the ancient Maya themselves.
This is the science of archaeology that is so exciting.
And braving an erupting volcano to find out why this great civilization collapsed.
They may have think it could have been the end of the world.
To solve these mysteries, we bring this remarkable world back to life in vivid 3D and explore the lavish tombs of kings to shed new light on the life and death of the ancient Maya. The spectacular city of Copan is rich with mysterious temples and hidden tombs. David Sadat wants to find out about death in the Maya world. Can grisly evidence hidden in the heart of the city provide a clue? Hidden under Copan's hieroglyphic stairway, archaeologists discovered a limestone slab engraved with the first kings of Copan. Beneath it was a small circular crypt, crammed full of offerings. There were traces of mercury, 3 human skulls, and the bones of a whole puma, but also the remains of a human body, buried in a seated position, some bones blackened and burned. Could this be the last resting place of a lost king of Copan? David believes this tomb could hold clues to the mysterious burial practices of the Maya. To investigate, he's been given special access to Copan's research center. The burial's prime location and a royal carving suggests this could be the body of a king. But there's a problem.
When measured, the hips of this skeleton indicate that we have a woman.
These are not the remains of a king. Who could this remarkable woman be?
This is actually a rather graceful young woman in her mid-20s.
Closer inspection of the bones reveals something astonishing. A fracture of the right forearm, an injury associated with battle.
This woman has injuries that suggest that she may have been a warrior.
Experts now believe that some Maya warriors were women. Buried with her were the skulls of 3 men, the remains of turtles, deer, and a puma, and a treasure trove of jade jewelry. The grave goods make clear this is no ordinary burial.
Really, really interesting were the human skulls on top still had the neck vertebrae attached to them, and obvious signs of cut marks on those neck bones, indicating that those heads had been severed. The clear evidence of sacrifice by beheading.
David suspects this remarkable tomb could be a group sacrifice. The Maya often sacrificed warriors captured in battle from enemy kingdoms. Isotope analysis of the skeleton reveals that the woman is not local. She's from a region far north of Copan.
There's a strong likelihood that this woman herself was a sacrificial victim.
But what was the significance of sacrifice to the Maya?
The sacrifice was not just a gratuitous event, but it was a deeply important rite. It was connected with the resurrection, the rebirth, the renewal of life itself.
This extraordinary discovery sheds new light on the mysterious burial practices of the ancient Maya. Could archaeologists be on the brink of another groundbreaking find? At Copan, a team of scientists investigates one of the main temples. They are using cutting-edge technology called muon imaging to scan the temple and search for a royal tomb. As cosmic rays hit our atmosphere, they shower the Earth in subatomic particles called muons. By carefully placing muon detection plates, the team can scan the structure for hidden cavities like a giant X-ray. It takes months to gather enough data. In the meantime, team leader Seiichi Nakamura looks for clues in a nearby temple.
また現在ですね、ここを発掘しておりますのは、この古い時代の建物のこの正面階段の下にですね、古代前の人たちはしばしばですね、重要な奉納品を埋葬したり、あるいは何らかの生贄を埋葬したりということがありますので、そのために今この地点を掘り下げていっているところです。
Seiichi believes there could be another royal tomb hidden in this temple. A macabre discovery supports his theory.
王家に関連したこの建物のこの王の強さを示すもの、そして2つ目はやはりですね、この骸骨そのものが持っている意味、すなわち死およびそこに埋葬されているということと、関係があるというふうに考えられています。
Nearby, one of the team has discovered something curious, a section of wall that looks different from the rest.
ここにですね、ちょうど壁の石が揃っている箇所があります。で、こちらもこう切ったような跡がありまして、で我々はこれをですね、古代前の人たちが中に何かを埋めて、そして蓋をした跡という痕跡だというふうに解釈をしています。
Seiichi believes this strange section of wall is an entrance that has been bricked up.
これは私の想像なんですが、七号神殿の地下にですね、非常に重要な墓があるとすると、そこにつながるような地下トンネルの入り口みたいな可能性もないとは言えません。
It will take many more months of painstaking digging to clear the entrance to see what is beyond.
いいんじゃないですか、感じとしては。
After death, ritual burials appeased the gods and ensured safe passage to the next world. But how did the Maya appeal to their deities during life? A clue could lie in a stunning limestone carving. Panos Kratimenos investigates. The carving shows a king holding a torch. Kneeling next to him is his queen.
We can see the queen running a rope with thorns on it through her tongue to let blood.
In the Maya world, bloodletting was a common practice. High-status Maya would lacerate their own ears, tongue, or other sensitive areas using stingray spines and obsidian glass. But it was done for a purpose.
Maya elites lived lives of great privilege, but there was a price to be paid for that in their own blood.
Maya rulers claimed legitimacy through their special access to the supernatural world. It was their job to speak to the gods and to seek their favor.
The most effective way of asking for favors from the supernatural world was to offer up your own blood.
Bloodletting was a sacrifice you could repeat, but it was not for the faint-hearted.
This would have hurt. When it's hot and humid, you don't heal for ages. So, as well as being painful, it would have been potentially quite dangerous.
Who were these bloodthirsty deities? And what was their role in the lives of the Maya? Magnificent Maya cities were rich with mighty temples and beautiful carvings dedicated to mysterious deities. In Copan, David Sadat wants to find out more. There are clues dotted all over the city. Carvings of an impressive bird, the scarlet macaw.
The macaw is certainly a very proud, loud creature. He outshouts anybody around.
Why did the Maya carve macaws all over their city?
There are many sculptures in Copan that show that the divine king and the nobles wore headdresses of long feathers. It would have been a glorious spectacle.
But to the Maya, the macaw was more than flamboyant headwear. It played an important role in their creation story. When the gods first created the world, there were no humans and no light. Just a vain bird called Seven Macaw, pretending to be the sun. The gods tried to create humans from mud and wood, but they had no soul and could not worship, so the gods destroyed them. Then, one day, two young gods called the Hero Twins challenged Seven Macaw and shot the imposter from his tree. Eventually, the twins became the real moon and sun. Now, when the gods tried to create humans from maize, they finally succeeded. The Maya had over 160 deities. They were complex beings with tangled roles and intricate functions.
The Maya believed in a fractal universe, something that was constantly changing, forming new patterns.
If the gods were angered, they could smite the population with crop failure or drought. Keeping them happy was essential. What can hidden evidence reveal about the ingenious ways the Maya survived against the odds? The magnificent city of Tikal thrived for over 1,000 years and was once home to an estimated 60,000 people. But how did the city survive when conditions became hostile? Livy Gracioso has been studying the Maya for over 30 years. She believes their survival rested on a very simple substance: water.
We have a rainy season and a dry season, and the dry season can last for over 4 months. And they have to assure to have enough water for everybody during the dry season.
Lakes don't form naturally here because the limestone bedrock is porous. When it rains, the water is quickly absorbed into the ground. How did the kings of Tikal provide water for the tens of thousands of people who lived here? Today, the evidence is consumed by dense jungle. But hidden within the trees, Livy finds something extraordinary. A large depression in the ground.
We are actually in the palace reservoir. We have the big chain of reservoirs in Tikal Plaza.
These reservoirs are part of a monumental water management system. The Maya built canals to collect rainwater running off Tikal's buildings and roads. They carved out a deep basin, lined it with clay, and built a 10-meter stone dam that doubled up as a causeway. In the rainy season, this created a huge reservoir over 180 meters across. When it was full, it overflowed into an even bigger pool lower down. These gigantic artificial lakes made up a network of more than 20 reservoirs, storing millions of liters of water right in the heart of Tikal.
Treat yourself to the best gift in history this holiday season. Enjoy unlimited access to award-winning podcasts and thousands of hours of original history documentaries released weekly exclusively on History Hit. There are topics for all history lovers, from Pompeii to D-Day. Sign up via the link in the description for an exclusive discount. Don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to explore the past like never before with History Hit.
But with so many people living here, keeping the water clean was a monumental challenge.
In our studies, we found cyanobacteria and contamination with mercury. That's really toxic for people. The Mayas needed to create a solution to filter water, to make it safe to drink for everybody.
They came up with an ingenious answer. In a mine 30 kilometers from Tikal, the Maya dug out volcanic rocks and sand and carried it back to the city. The sand contained the mineral zeolite, which works like a molecular sieve to filter out toxins and pathogens, technology used to this day. It's thought that the Maya used this sand to build large-scale filters onto the end of their water collection channels. It was the first water purification system of its kind in the world, and the people of Tikal relied on it for 1,000 years.
For kings and rulers, it must have been very important to have the ability to control water, because that will give them prestige, and also that shows power.
Pioneering engineering delivered safe drinking water to the people of Tikal, but survival was precarious, and in the 10th century, Maya cities were mysteriously abandoned. What caused this devastating collapse of civilization? In Mexico, paleoclimatologists Ikuko Kitaba and Takeshi Nakagawa search for clues to what caused the Maya to abandon their cities. Takeshi has an idea.
過去の気候変動がマヤ文明の盛衰に影響しているんじゃないかということはもう仮説としてはずっと言われてきていまして、ただそれを検証することがなかなか難しいわけです。
Could climate change have triggered the collapse of Maya civilization? To find out, the team has built a floating platform. They attach a drill which they will use to collect sediment samples from the lake bed.
で堆積物の深さがですね、今回狙っているので一番深くて10メーターぐらいまで到達しようとしてるんですよ。なので、機材の重さだけでも相当なものになります。それから堆積物の中に刺さったそのサンプラーっていうんですけれども、それを取ってくるための道具を引っ張り上げるのもかなりの力が必要なもんで。
It's a delicate process. The team needs to drill to exactly the right depth and then extract each sample without disturbing the sediments. Each core is 60 centimeters long and is made up of layers of sediment called varves. Like the rings of a tree, each valve represents 1 year in the lifetime of the lake.
でこの地域特に乾季と雨季が明瞭ですので、乾季の堆積物と雨季の堆積物が目で見てわかるぐらいはっきり色の違う縞模様を作っていきます。なので、その1年に1組の明るい色と暗い色の縞模様ができていって。
If a major climatic event caused the Maya collapse, evidence will be locked in these layers. Ikuko carefully records each sample.
こっちが上でこっちが下です。多分次のとかの方が綺麗に全部土入って見栄えがすると思います。
The team must take the samples to Japan for analysis. They hope to find clues to what caused Maya civilization to fall after centuries of success. But what can grim evidence found deep underground reveal about the people who helped it to rise? Maya rulers built stunning monuments to glorify themselves and their gods. At Palenque, kings created some of the most beautiful architecture in the Maya world. Rodrigo Liendo investigates how the city's elite lived.
The palace at Palenque is the most important building in the city because this was the actual building where the important administrative and political decisions were made.
The palace is a masterpiece of Maya engineering, with an observation tower, courtyards, and even indoor toilets. Near the entrance is an intriguing carving. Rodrigo believes it provides a clue to how Maya kings like Pakal ruled.
In this court, it's presented a series of captives very close to be sacrificed.
The carvings depict a key moment in Palenque's history, when Pakal's army won a victory over a rival kingdom and captured its ruler.
Pakal was really trying to send a message and show everybody coming into the palace one of his finest moments in his reign. So visitors or high dignitaries would look at this scene with a little bit of fright.
Together with an elite council, Maya kings ruled the cities through a mix of fear and awe. They enjoyed a life of comfort and luxury. Can human remains discovered in the city reveal what the Maya ruling classes looked like? Luis Núñez has been studying the bones of the ancient Maya for 20 years. He examines a skull found in a temple. It belongs to a man around 40 years old.
He is part of a group of around 15 burials, all in their individual caskets. He is a high-status individual, the very, very elite of the society.
When Luis takes a closer look at the skull, he spots something strange. It's an unusual shape.
What we have here is a very beautiful example of the artificial cranial modification. And most of the population have this type of bone modification.
Cranial modification was a way of distorting the soft skulls of babies by binding them with hard boards. As they got older, the bones fused into this elongated shape. Luis believes this practice had both a practical and a spiritual purpose.
Some people believe that has to do with the status of the individual, maybe like a sign of beauty. To be honest, it's a little bit of a mystery.
Skull shaping was not the only way the Maya showed off their status. Luis examines the man's teeth.
One very interesting detail is the dental modifications. In this case, we see 4 of the upper teeth with inlays, one black and the other one green.
The Maya drilled small holes in their teeth and decorated them with precious stones, like jade or obsidian. The discovery of elite Maya burials reveals the extraordinary riches Maya elite used to display their status. What other Maya treasures could still lie hidden, waiting to be discovered? In Copan, the Japanese team continue their search for a royal tomb inside Temple 11. To find it, it's vital their detectors point in exactly the right direction. After months of waiting, early analysis reveals they have missed their target. To decide where to scan next, Seiichi investigates an area near the top of the temple. He finds a tantalizing opening.
ちょっと非常に危険なので、研究所もその人が立ったりすることによって崩落する可能性があるから、なるべく入らないでほしいと言われてます。
Stone steps lead down into the darkness. But it's too unstable for the team to enter. They use a camera to look inside. It reveals a shaft, 5 meters deep, with a small chamber at the bottom.
大体このマヤの都市の王墓の作り方は、その王が実際に安置される石室のほかに、その上、あるいは斜め上にですね、いろんな奉納品を捧げるところが必ずありますので、私はそれじゃないかと思います。
This intriguing cavity provides a clue to the exact position of the tomb.
ですからこの石室の隣ないしは斜め下ぐらいに、私は王墓があるというふうに考えています。
Now they know more precisely where to look, the team can try scanning again. They set up their photographic plates at a new angle, facing where they think the tomb could be.
方向的には向こうの方向なので、向こうに向けてるフィルムが今ここと奥に1個ずつあるんですけど。
Astrophysicist Kunhiro Morishima is confident they've got it right this time.
大きさ次第ではあるんですけど、2メートルぐらいの大きさがあれば見えるはずだと思います。
The scanners detect cosmic particles called muons that penetrate the temple like a giant X-ray. Discovering a tomb could finally help explain what happened to the ancient Maya. The beautiful Maya city of Copan now lies ruined. René Viel investigates how this once powerful kingdom met its end. A clue could lie on an unusual square altar.
These altars represent the 17th king, and there is a date, which is February 822.
This altar was built to celebrate the succession of a 17th ruler of Copan. But something is wrong.
On the other side, they started to carve, but it is not finished. So it looks like something sudden happened. This is the very last thing that has been carved in Copan. It's the end of Copan.
Why is the altar unfinished? René believes this is evidence that before the new king of Copan could finish his project, Maya civilization collapsed.
The collapse of Copan must be seen in the context of the general collapse of the Maya civilization between 800 and 900. What are the reasons for that collapse is not yet very clear.
Over the next 100 years, Maya society disintegrated. Wars broke out, many died, and cities like Copan were abandoned.
The city, from a peak of, say, 25,000 people, in a few decades, just went down to, say, 5,000 people.
Other powerful cities like Palenque and Tikal also fell silent. What happened to cause this catastrophic breakdown of Maya civilization? In Japan, the team begin their analysis of the sediment samples taken from the lake. Each 60-centimeter sample contains hundreds of valves, or layers.
かなり長い木 期間の記録が取り出せるっていうのがあるんじゃないかなと思っています。
They have 6.5 meters of core, taking them back thousands of years, well before the Maya collapse. If the layers have been disturbed, the information is lost. Ikuko checks for damage.
かなりいい年縞が取れたと思っています。でさらにもう一つ言うと、ここ見ていただくと白い年縞、黒い年縞、2つのタイプの年縞があるんですけれど、こういうのがまた雨の変化ですとか環境の変化を非常によく記録しているんじゃないかと思います。
It's a success. The layers are undisturbed, and the team can start their analysis. If a flood, drought, or human activity contributed to the Maya collapse, they hope to find evidence of it in here. And it's not long before Takeshi makes a discovery.
やったー、どうです。最高じゃん。これが葉っぱですね。これが真ん中の葉脈で。
The ancient leaf has been preserved for over 1,000 years. It acts like a timestamp, allowing the team to precisely date the layer. Could it hold clues to what really happened to the Maya? In Guatemala, Livy Gracioso investigates what else may have caused the Maya to abandon their cities. She travels to one of the country's many active volcanoes. This one is called Pacaya. It could provide a clue to the mystery of the Maya collapse.
Pacaya is often erupting. Sometimes it's only columns of smoke, but it's very often that they have lava flows going down. With all the ashes that were expelled to the atmosphere, they travel thousands of kilometers, and all these ashes that fall into the ground, they are very helpful to create fertile soils.
Volcanic ash is an excellent fertilizer. It contains magnesium and phosphates, minerals still used in fertilizers today. When experts analyzed the soil at Tikal, they found traces of volcanic ash from these volcanoes, blown on the wind. But what happened when the winds changed?
Sometimes when the prevailing winds go in another direction, the ashes won't be delivered to the area they were supposed to go.
Without this fertilizer, Maya farmers may have struggled to produce enough food for Tikal's enormous population. But Livy believes there could be an even more dramatic reason for the abandonment of the cities.
In the soil samples we took, we find out that at least they were like 3 major volcanic eruptions that were really strong, mostly at the time the cities were abandoned.
A huge volcanic eruption may have devastated the Maya.
Ashes fell into the reservoirs, water was scarce, and it really had catastrophic consequences for the Maya society. They may have think it could have been the end of the world.
By the middle of the 10th century AD, these once mighty cities were empty. What happened to the people who left? Clues may lie in the spectacular city of Chichen Itza in modern-day Mexico. At the heart of the city is a towering pyramid, 30 meters tall and 55 meters wide, with 9 tiers.
In Chichen Itza, the castle is one of the most famous structures because of its beauty and also its magnificent architecture.
Livy believes this monumental outer pyramid provides a clue to what happened to the Maya people. When archaeologists excavated inside the castle, they found a smaller pyramid beneath it, and another one beneath that, like Russian dolls. The innermost pyramid was built around 500 AD, and the second one 200 years later. But the imposing outer pyramid dates to the 10th century, over 100 years after the Maya collapse. If the Maya had already abandoned their cities, who built it?
Although many large cities were abandoned, there were other cities that they were occupied at that time, but they flourished and become stronger and larger. And a good example is Chichen Itza.
This magnificent pyramid was also built by the Maya. It's proof that after great cities like Copan and Tikal fell into ruin, others rose up.
Chichen, the area was populated way before that. But after the big cities were abandoned, it started becoming like a great city, let's say after 1000 AD on.
Chichen Itza grew to become a major Maya capital while other cities fell into ruin. But how did shockwaves from the collapse affect the way the Maya lived? For a long time, the Maya rarely sacrificed humans, only on special occasions, like the death of a king. But after the 10th century, those killings became more frequent. If a team lost in a Maya ball game, the players could be beheaded. Their skulls were placed on racks, along with scores of heads from sacrificed prisoners of war. And at a nearby sinkhole, more than 200 men, women, and children were thrown in, dead or alive. What fueled the Maya's sudden drive to placate their gods?
There's evidence that there was an increase in sacrifices. And not only the quantity, but also the diversity of sacrifices.
Livy believes that after the turbulence of the collapse, the Maya started turning more to religion.
And because of the crisis, people will take refuge in religion and they start making it more intense, like performing more sacrifices or doing rituals to please the gods in order to keep the balance and stability in their society.
Evidence from Chichen Itza has revealed that after the Maya collapse, they built a new society. But it was very different. There was more instability, more warfare, and more political turbulence. Every day, scientists edge closer to understanding what caused this radical change. Back in Japan, the scanning team study the results of their groundbreaking attempt to find a burial chamber inside Copan's Temple 11.
ここ入り口のちょっと崩れてるところで、
正面。
はい。
They've created a 3D model. They compare it with the scans to look for any anomalies that could indicate a tomb.
そのデータとシミュレーションを比較するという解析をすることによって、そのピラミッドの複雑な形状に隠れているような構造がもしあれば、それが見えてくるというふうに考えています。
But the internal tunnels and collapsed areas make the temple difficult to analyze.
そこにある程度の大きさを持った空間が存在していて、それがいろんな背景と重なってうまく見えていない可能性はあると思います。
For now at least, they cannot see a tomb. But armed with this new information, they plan to return to Copan and try again.
現代の科学の最先端なものを使ってやってるわけですから、この形の研究というのはもちろんそのマヤおよび中南米では全くやられていないので、これは一つのブレイクスルーになる可能性は非常に大きいと思います。
experts have taken another step forward in their search for Copan's lost kings. But for now, Temple 11 holds on to its secrets. Will the other team have more success and solve the mystery of the Maya collapse? At its peak, the Maya civilization covered more than 250,000 square kilometers and numbered around 11 million people. Why did their dominance come to an end? In Japan, Ikuko Kitaba and her team are searching for evidence of the Maya collapse in the sediment cores they sampled from the lake bed. First, they examine the levels of nitrogen. The results are shocking.
ここまで綺麗なこの立ち上がりをグイーンっつってもう下がる。これはもうちょっと未だかつて僕の経験にはない。
The levels of nitrogen are extremely high, but drop sharply around the late 9th century. What caused this abrupt change?
まあ要するに糞尿ですよ。糞尿が多いと窒素がバンと上がるんですよ。
It's a clear sign of human activity. The sharp decline in nitrogen levels is proof that the population plummeted at the time of the collapse. But to the team's surprise, evidence of a major climatic event remains elusive.
今回ですね、気候変動が見えるかなっていうふうに期待してたんですけれども、かなり人間活動が色濃く見えたので、その気候変動の部分がどこまで見えているのかっていうのがちょっとわからなくなってきました。
What happened to decimate the Maya population? Ikuko has an alternative theory.
そこでですね、もしかすると人間がその周りの土地を開拓したことによってもうその周りの土地に対して不可逆的ななんていうか影響を与えたのかもしれないっていうそういう可能性は否定できません。
Ikuko believes that over-farming may have played a role in the collapse of Maya civilization. Their findings are not what they expected. There's no sign of a natural disaster. It opens the door to a whole new area of research.
中緯度帯にそういう適したサンプルが堆積物や年輪と含めてね、これまでなかったので、本当に未開の地を行くっていう形でまだどう転ぶか分かりませんけど、その波及効果っていうのはちょっと想像できないような規模になるかなというふうには思ってますね。
Scientists are one step closer to solving this ancient mystery. But even the powerful Maya cities that came after the collapse couldn't last forever. How did the glorious Maya civilization finally come to an end? Luis José Hernández has been studying Maya history for over 20 years. He hunts for clues on the island of Flores in Guatemala.
There were 21 small Maya pyramids here. Now we can see a church, but the church was built on top of a Mayan temple.
4 centuries ago, this was a bustling Maya city. Who built this church here? The Spanish first arrived in Mexico in 1519 and quickly conquered the Aztecs. But the Maya put up fierce resistance. It took the Spanish 170 years to defeat all their separate kingdoms. In February 1697, the invaders attacked the last Maya bastion, the island of Flores. Many Maya defenders perished in a hail of Spanish gunfire, and the rest were forced to abandon the city.
How many people died? We really don't know. According to the historical records, the lake's color changed to red, the color of blood.
From the Maya ruins arose the modern city of Flores. It's the second oldest continuously inhabited settlement in the Americas. After the conquest, European diseases devastated the Maya people. But there are still 6 million Maya descendants living in the region today.
The Spanish destroyed everything, but they didn't destroy costume, traditions, and even the language.
The vast kingdoms of the ancient Maya, a civilization once lost to the jungle. Now, archaeology is revolutionizing our understanding of how these remarkable people lived and died. With clues hidden for millennia inside spectacular temples, ancient texts and carvings, the priceless treasures of royal burials, and even locked in the sediment of lake beds. With stone tools, the Maya built stunning monuments and elaborate tombs for their powerful kings and queens. They used advanced engineering to survive harsh conditions. And when some cities collapsed, others rose up more spectacular than ever. Many mysteries about the life and death of this great civilization still remain. But with the help of groundbreaking technology, experts are gradually unlocking the secrets of the ancient Maya.